Good morning, good morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning today, the 3rd of January 2025. Trust that you all well and that you are due to enjoy a beautiful day. I've been doing some videos on the fulfillment of biblical prophecy, and I am recently dealing with the book of Revelations. You're welcome to look at the past videos. I hope that you would do so and that you would like and share, and you can use them as a reference if there's anything that I'm talking about is unclear. But I'm pushing on today on the point of the beast that you find in Revelation 13, and I want to link this time oppressive periods in history where we see the systems of government, which are also connected to the word beast, systems of government, how cruelty and oppression takes place. There seems to be a kind of a thing of seasons that we go through in life, and there are seasons or periods in history where there's a great oppression, cruelty, and so forth. Let me begin with the example of Rome. You all heard of Nero, how cruel he was, and how wicked he was, and how oppressive he was. That's well far back in history. Then, in the time of Jesus Christ, in Palestine or Israel, we had the Roman governor Pontius Pilate. The point I want to reach here is that the system of execution in oppression was crucifixion on a cross, for instance, to hang on a tree. And the Romans used that method of crucifixion to carry out their executions. Now, the point I want to raise is that it was the first time in history, basically, that that form of execution took place. In the time of, the Bible characters, from Genesis onwards, people were executed by stoning when they were found guilty of something and had to be executed. And the point is that long centuries before the method of crucifixion came about, um, the prophet Isaiah in the Old Testament had prophesied um, the system of execution that was unheard of. But as I pointed out in another video, the Bible is accurate to the T, and here we come into Rome where there's crucifixion. So Pontius Pilate, who was reluctant to judge Jesus Christ, was persuaded by the Sanhedrin of the Jewish leaders who didn't want Christ to, claim that he's the Son of God, etc. And so he was executed via crucifixion. There's the one example, and then let's go on to what I mentioned in another video of the system of slavery. A period in history where there was huge oppression, suffering, and wickedness perpetrated by mostly the European nations on the African peoples by capturing them and carrying them over in ships across the Atlantic to the Americas and the Caribbean, where they were sold into slavery. And that slavery was extremely cruel, wicked, and oppressive. Then we look at the French Revolution, which we learn about in school, how we came about the republics, for instance, the system of government. We moved away from aristocracy and kings and queens, etc. in France, but there was a period of extreme wickedness, cruelty, and oppression even in that process of striving towards defending the Republic. There's a period called the Jacobites, the time of the Jacobites, where the system of execution was beheading. Okay, so I'm just trying to show the system of execution after being sentenced, and compare them to the different periods in history, because I'm getting to the beast. So just follow my train of thought. There was a thing called the guillotine, which I'll mention later again. A huge kind of device with a sharp edge blade that would be lifted up high up in this device and then let go to cut the head of the person off. So there was a great number of executions via the guillotine in that period of the Jacobites, in their efforts to get rid of the aristocracy and their suspected sympathizers. Then, if we look into closer to us, the World War II, which is a follow-up from World War I, in the character of Adolf Hitler, the Nazis, they were very anti the Jewish people of Europe that time, and they wanted to execute all the Jews in Europe, which they called the final solution, and they shipped them off or trained them off in trains to the various execution camps, the concentration camps as we know them. I can name you a few of them. We had Bergen-Belsen, Treblinka, Dachau, and the famous one, or the infamous one, Auschwitz, where you enter in by the entrance, the gate. It says Arbeit macht frei, which actually means work brings freedom. Ain't strange enough the people enter there and they never come out alive. So that was extreme cruelty, wickedness, and oppression, where the people were brought there and they were made to work till they did, if they could, if they were healthy enough, or until they can't, and they would be sent to the gas chambers under the pretext that it's a showers to get them cleaned, and then they would be gassed, and then the bodies would be burnt in the crematoriums or the ovens. So that's a period in history where the system of government under the Nazis was extremely cruel and wicked. And then even into more closer time to us, the period of what we call apartheid in the Republic of South Africa, where in the 1950s there was great suffering put on the peoples of color. They had what is called separate development, and laws were passed in Parliament, such as, I'll give you a few examples. There are several laws. The Group Areas Act, where people are to be moved out of areas and placed into areas separate from the other group of the, racial profiling, etc. Mixed Marriages Act, where people whites could not be in relationship or marriage with people of color. Separate amenities, public toilets, libraries, clinics, and so forth had to be separate, etc., etc. Now, in the 1950s, that was very oppressive, and the people were suffering in that process. And you might be asking then, why am I bringing this up? What is the connection with the topic of Revelation 13? Well, remember, I wanted to show, the full extent and meaning of the term beast that we find in Revelation 13. And the previous video, I elaborated about the word beast is not an animal, it is actually a system of government. And a beast is the word that it would indicate something that is not gentle and so on. It's a beast is cruel and oppressive and so on. So it's a period in history or a period in time where the system of government is very oppressive. There's tyranny, there's testing on the people who are under it, and there is suffering. Now, so they have established that it's a period of history connected to a system of government. And remember, the government system of government, I said that it's linked to we had kingdoms, empires, and of course the time of the beast, according to Revelation 13. In Revelation 13, you're going to come across the word the first beast and the second beast, and it's definitely a very cruel and oppressive time. And if you look into history on the examples that I've shown or given, you'll know that in the time of the Antichrist, which is referred to as the beast, it's going to be a system of government that's going to be extremely oppressive and wicked. And so before we get into that topic, unravel the words in Revelations, it's important to establish the foundations, the basics of this, because as I said in the first video on this topic, in Revelations, one cannot understand the book of Revelations without really getting into knowing the symbols that are being used there. So for now, I think I'll leave it there, and I'll wish you a great day further.